Today, we have the pleasure of having another millennial mom who's gracious enough to spend some time with us on TableTalkNaija. Please join me as I welcome Kunaba to Table Talk. Kunaba is a mom, a fashionista, a career woman, and a wife. And as she's fondly called, Coons is here to tell us about her experience as a millennial mom. Thank you for joining us.
You're welcome.
So, growing up in Naija, what were your expectations of an ideal mom?
So I always expected an ideal mom to be a superhero, a super mom, a know-it-all, a do-it-all kind of person who is always there for her kids, who understands her kids so well. She knows what they want, and she has this open relationship with her kids that they can actually walk up to her and talk to her just about anything. So that was what I actually thought an ideal mom was.
Okay, yeah. So do you have any reasons to think otherwise now that you're a mom?
No, I do not. I still believe an ideal mom should be all those things, but being a mom now myself, I know it's really difficult to meet all those expectations that I kind of had before I became a mom. So I still believe a mother should be open, should have an open relationship with her children, and she should be there for her kids and be everything to her.
And you don't think that that's too much to ask of one person?
To be honest, it might not be too much because you don't have to be perfect at it. You just have to try to at least be all those things to your kids. These days, we see, not these days only, it's always been like that. So like your friends have the most influence on you than your parents. So you just have to try to at least be, form a kind of relationship with your kids way early in life. That way they know, rather than hearing from their friends first on how life should be or what they should expect, they should hear from mom first.
So what you're saying is the goal is not perfection. The goal is just being there, just being
exactly. No one is perfect. No one can ever achieve perfection. Perfection is a relative term. What I consider perfection might be different to you and might be different to your own kid and different to my own kid. So it's relative.
Interesting. Yeah. I could go on and on about this. So my second question to you is, given all the help that's supposedly available to Nigerian moms in Nigeria, did you ever think, growing up, that you would find yourself in a situation where you're now having to raise your child with as minimal help as you have right now? Did you see that? Did you see that coming?
No, I did not. I never dreamt of living outside of Nigeria, so that was my comfort zone, and I always felt, oh, my parents are there, my siblings are there, and at most I will get a help in the house. So well, that was what I always thought, but reality now is kind of different, and I have to adjust to my reality.
So how would you describe this reality? How would you describe the balance? Like, how would you describe how you're doing with this balancing of your career, your academics? I know you're back in school, and then raising a child at the same time. Well, how, if you were to rate yourself, how would you rate yourself?
Okay, on a scale of 1 to 10, I will say on 2. Yeah.
Okay.
It's actually not easy balancing the 3 together. Like, I've had the most brutal 2 years ever in my life. Like having to raise a child, having to look after a home, having to kind of pursue a career and move to a new country. Like, those things have really, really weighed down on me, and it's actually not been easy, to be honest. And I'm not going to work. Yeah, it's a lot of work. I'm not going to pretend to be a super mom out there. It's brutal. So yeah, basically that's it. So it's actually not easy balancing everything together, but I try. Like, some days some days are bad, some days are good, but I just try to do the basic of things that I can do, provide for my family and make sure that my child is clean. So I just think everything else will take care of itself.
Okay, so let's talk about friends. So everyone knows that a sister needs a friend, a sister needs a sister to rely on. So how would you say being a mom has affected your ability to keep up with your friends?
So I'm an introvert to begin with, and my circle is really small. I don't have a lot of friends. My husband, on the other hand, has a lot of friends. He's an extrovert. So I try to be friends with his friends, and I would say that's working really well because on weekends all I want to do is just stay indoors, clean, sleep, do my assignments, and then catch up on a few things on Instagram. That's one of my favorite things to do. Yeah, so it's actually not easy. Like I've had friends that I haven't seen in a year and they leave here. Yeah. I've had to keep in touch with them once in a few months. Like, hey, how you doing? I said, I'm so sorry I don't stay in touch as much as I should, but I just try to stay in touch.
So I'm curious. So is the inability to keep in touch due to the fact that you're a mom, or it's just because things are crazy? Like if you didn't have to shoulder the responsibilities of being a mom, do you think you would be in the same situation?
I still think I'll be in the same situation, to be honest. Like, no, yeah, I still would be in the same situation, but being a mom just makes that issue much more worse than it usually would have been.
Okay,
yeah.
Interesting. So now we're going to ask about the look. We all know the look you get when your child is making noise when everyone else is quiet. The look that tells you to handle your business. Every mother knows that look. So, Kunaba, do you have any vivid experience of this look, this mommy mind your business look that mothers mostly give other mothers when their children act bad?
I have so many stories. Like, before I became a mom, before I got married, I was one of those people who always gave that look like control your child. Oh my goodness, I wish you could give me this child. I will train him in 2 hours. And this kind of nonsense. So I became a mom, and my child became a topic of conversation, of course, because he is well behaved when we're at home. Yeah, he understands, but the minute we're out, like, he is a totally different person. Like, he's daring you, like, do your worst, like, I will do this. So I've had situations where my child we go into a store and he's rolling from one end of the aisle to the other, and people giving me that look. So because I've been on the other side before, as in I understand that look, and like I've gotten to the point that I really do not care, and I'm like, well, you've never been in my shoes before. Or I've had, like, among my circle of friends, some people saying, oh, my child, like, they don't say it to my face, but they find ways to drop it in that, oh yeah, you need to have a handle on your child. And I just look at them like, well, you've never been a mom, you don't know what it feels like. But
interesting. I think one thing I've learned concerning the look is that children are different. They're absolutely different. Like, you might be blessed to have like a well-behaved child, all-round well-behaved child, and there's someone else whose child is just different. It doesn't mean they're bad, it's just that they're different, and different people have the capability to handle different situations differently. Exactly. It was something I really had to come to understand as a mom. Interesting.
Yeah, like I took my child back to my parents for the first time sometime last year, and because he's such a handful, my dad exclaimed, he was like, oh, you're going to kill my daughter. And like, he's such a handful. So I totally agree with you that kids are different, and we as parents will have different capacities to handle them. So we just have to pray for grace, strength, and wisdom.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. So my final question today is, if you could go back in time, what would you tell dear younger you about this situation, about being a mom, about life in general? What would be your candid advice to a younger you?
So, on life generally, I would advise my 25-year-old self to leave, right? Party hard. Leave, you only turn 25 once. And I'll advise myself to just breathe, take things easy. Things will fall into place eventually. And there's never a path to being a great mom. Like, you're always the greatest or the best to your child regardless. You will make mistakes in life, that's part of learning, but never forget to dust yourself off and keep moving.
Interesting. Thank you very much for spending time with us.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Okay, here's the reality of motherhood for many people. It's not neat, it's not organized, and it's most definitely not picture perfect. What we sometimes tag as the makings of a terrible mom is simply a woman doing her utmost to be enough and to do enough for her children, albeit sometimes misguided, but that's okay. Regardless of your station in life, your background, your upbringing, your worldview, experiences, or even your unique circumstances, these questions of whether or not moms are enough, they don't change. We all want to be great moms, to give our children everything that they need to thrive. But the interesting thing is, we can only give what we have. So the big question is, how much do you have? How much love, peace, patience, civility, kindness, and joy do you have to give? On the next episode of TableTalkNaija, we'll be talking about the Nigerian woman and her many hats. And we'll have the pleasure of meeting a young Nigerian lady who's written 2 books and is currently on her 3rd one. So, if you have big dreams, big hopes, and big aspirations, come join us as we talk about the versatility of the Nigerian woman.